I should have trusted my gut the moment we pulled into that dusty little town. There was something about the way the sun cast long shadows over the cracked pavement, and how the tumbleweeds seemed to roll across the road with a kind of nervous energy. But after 8 straight hours of driving across the Arizona desert, all I could think about was cold water, hot food, and somewhere to stretch our legs. Our GPS had gone haywire about an hour and a half earlier, just completely froze up, and there was no signal. Nicole, my wife, suggested we keep heading west until we found something. And thankfully, just before dusk hit, we spotted a crooked green sign that read, Bristlewood, Exit 14, Food, Gas, Lodging. There was something old about it, like it hadn't been updated in years. But we were desperate. The kids, Ellie, 12, and Noah, 9, were half asleep in the back seat, their faces pressed against the window glass, sweat clinging to their hairlines. Everyone was exhausted. I turned off the highway. The town wasn't even marked on our paper map. It was little more than a cluster of buildings baking in the heat, surrounded by sun-bleached hills and wide-open nothing. That's when we saw it. Jenny's Diner and Motor Inn. The neon sign buzzed softly in the fading light, half the letters flickering. The parking lot was empty except for our minivan and a rusted pickup that looked like it hadn't moved in months. I remember thinking it looked like something out of a 1950s postcard. Kitschy red booths visible through the wide diner windows, an old Coca-Cola sign hanging above the entrance, a gas pump next door with a mechanical flip dial. It's kind of charming, Nicole said, smiling wearily. I tried to smile back. Part of me wanted to just keep driving, but the kids were whining, and I didn't want to be that dad, overcautious, paranoid. So we went inside. The little brass bell above the door gave a cheerful ring as we stepped into the cool, air-conditioned diner. A woman appeared almost instantly, like she'd been standing just out of sight. Mid-40s, maybe, her name tag read Marla. She wore a crisp sky blue waitress uniform and had a plastered-on smile that stretched just a little too far. "Welcome, travelers," she said brightly, her voice sing-songy but oddly flat beneath the cheer. "You just missed the dinner rush. Lucky for you, we've still got the house special." I glanced around. The place was spotless but empty. No customers, no other employees. It was almost too clean. The windows were spotless. Not a fingerprint, not a smudge, not even a bug on the outside. Something felt artificial, like we'd walked into a staged scene. Still, we sat. Hunger won out. The menu was short, 3 pages total, but Marla insisted we try the house special. Pot roast, mashed potatoes, and green beans, with a slice of pie for dessert. "Best you'll find this side of the Rockies," she promised. Nicole and I exchanged a look, but we agreed. We ordered 4 plates, and Marla bustled off. As we waited, Ellie leaned over and whispered, "This place is weird." I tried to make a joke, something about small towns being quirky, but I couldn't shake the unease either. The radio near the kitchen played a warbling old song I didn't recognize, and the only other sound was the faint hum of fluorescent lights above us. No clattering of dishes, no clink of silverware. Just stillness. Noah needed the restroom, so Marla pointed him down the hall past the kitchen. He came back quickly, his face pale. "All the other doors are locked," he whispered. I think they locked me in for a second. The light flickered and I couldn't open it. Nicole hushed him, brushing it off like a kid's imagination, but I took mental note. When Marla returned with our food, I asked about the motel. "We were thinking of grabbing a room if you've got one," I said casually. She lit up. "Oh, you're in luck. Just one left, and it's right next to the diner. We always like to take care of nice families like yours." Her voice was syrupy sweet, but her eyes flicked quickly toward the kitchen door behind her. A cold ripple went down my back. That was the first time I considered that we might not be safe. As we ate, though I suddenly wasn't hungry, another man emerged from the kitchen. Big guy, broad shoulders, with slicked back black hair and a butcher's apron stained with something that looked more brown than red. He looked us over like we were an inventory check, then gave a tight-lipped smile. "You'll be comfortable here," he said, his voice gravelly. "Name's Keith. I handle the motel side." I forced a smile, but every instinct in me screamed to get out. Still, the sun was down now. The road was pitch black behind us. We were isolated, outnumbered, and possibly already marked. Our room was in the attached motor lodge. 8 rooms, single story, stretched out like a spine behind the diner. Keith handed us a key with no number, just the word guests etched into it. The hallway light flickered ominously as we walked to the end. Inside, the room was tidy, but wrong. The windows had metal bars outside the glass, and the bathroom door had a lock on the outside too. No phone, no TV, no working outlets. Nicole's expression hardened the second we stepped inside. "We need to leave," she mouthed. She'd overheard something, Keith and Marla arguing in the kitchen, words like inventory, shipment, and van leaves by morning. My stomach turned. We kept our voices low as we huddled in the corner of the room, the kids half asleep, half terrified. We planned quietly. There were 2 problems. The front door was bolted from the outside, and the only window was useless. I remembered the lighter in the glove box, and an idea started to form. If we made them come in, distracted them, maybe we could slip out. I ripped the shower curtain, soaked it in rubbing alcohol from our emergency kit, and wrapped it around a towel. Nicole hesitated. "If this goes wrong," she whispered. "It won't," I lied. I lit the towel in the bathroom sink. Thick smoke filled the room in seconds. We started shouting, loud, panicked, desperate. "Help! Fire!" I banged on the door. For a moment, nothing. Then footsteps. Keith burst through the door with a fire extinguisher, coughing. That's when I slammed into him. He was strong, but I had surprise and rage on my side. Nicole yelled for Ellie to grab the keyring from his belt. She did, shaking, sobbing, but fast. I pinned Keith long enough for Nicole to open the door and push the kids through. I let go and ran. Marla screamed from the hallway, a high, piercing shriek that echoed in my ears. We burst out into the night. Outside, 3 more people appeared from the shadows. 2 young men in grease-stained aprons and a pale woman holding a clipboard, barking orders. They weren't employees. They were handlers. This wasn't a diner. It was a trap, and we were the bait. We reached the car as the front door of the diner flew open. One of them, a man in a trucker hat, ran toward us. I fumbled the keys, dropped them, picked them up, threw open the door, and shoved the kids inside. Nicole screamed at me to go. I hit the ignition. Tires screamed against gravel as we tore onto the road. In the rearview mirror, I saw them chasing us for a few moments. And then they just stopped. All of them. Lined up in front of the diner, smiling, waving. We didn't stop until we reached a gas station nearly an hour later. The clerk called the sheriff. We told him everything. Names, descriptions, the diner, the town, the truck in the parking lot. He stared at us with a strange look. "There's no bristlewood around here," he said slowly. "Never heard of Jenny's Diner." I showed him the spot on the map where we took the exit. It was blank. Nothing but highway and scrubland. The deputy arrived. Polite, skeptical. Took our statement, said they'd look into it. But no one ever called us back. Nicole has nightmares now of screaming behind locked doors. Ellie doesn't talk about that night. Noah draws pictures of shadowy people with stitched mouths and red aprons. And me? I drive past diners like that sometimes and feel my skin crawl. I can still see Keith's eyes, the weight of him on top of me, the smile on Marla's face as we fled. Somewhere out there, in the middle of the desert, Jenny's diner is still standing, waiting for another family whose GPS stops working, another unlucky group looking for dinner and a place to sleep. And if you ever see that neon sign, if you ever hear someone offer you the house special, keep driving. Because some places don't want customers, they want cargo.